Good everyone, and welcome to today's video, and today's battle I had in the SD KFZ 6.2, grinding the skins for it. Well, skin, I should say. A while back, this German truck got added a desert camouflage scheme. I already had the winter unlocked, but Gaijin being Gaijin decided, yeah, we'll make you work even harder and get a desert camouflage. The grind itself was filled with funny moments, pretty shit moments, and battles like this. So this little truck is well, it's actually 11 tons. It doesn't feel like it when you drive it, but it's actually 11 tons of half track, and it's nice to drive, but the engine is quite weak, so that's one thing to take into consideration. You are armed with a single 37mm Flak 36 with 318 rounds. Pretty decent, not gonna lie. It's a nice gun to use. It does require a bit of practice, but once you get practice with it, it will devastate aircraft. I'll tell you that right now. When this thing used to have 64mm of penetration on its APHE, I used to use it as a tank buster, but sadly you can't do that nowadays. You simply can't. You used to be able to kill T-34s through the turret cheeks pretty dang effectively, but nowadays you'll be lucky to scratch their paintwork. It's a real shame because Gaijin, when they did the penetration mechanics rework, they really nerfed this vehicle, and they didn't need to. It wasn't overpowered. It was unarmored. The only well, all three crew members that you need to deal with, because it's a four crew vehicle, so you only need to kill three, are in the turret. But I don't know. One thing to take into consideration, as we can see in the hangar, it cannot shoot over the truck or the front of the truck cab. So, oops, I just misclicked there. That's one thing to take into consideration. The front tires can be destroyed by machine gun fire and things like that. So can the tracks, obviously, because they're normal tracks. They weren't a tank. But this vehicle can obviously be hull broken by hitting the transmission, the engine, or hitting it so hard with a HE round it will destroy itself. This thing is very vulnerable to 50 cals, even 30 cal in some places, but otherwise, if you keep this thing in a good spot, you should be okay. So, let's jump right in and see what I got up to in this thing. Now, obviously, it'll be in the title. There is a whining player. His name was Zombie Army, I think it was, and he came up with some really weird insults in private messaging. I don't have a screenshot, sadly, as far as I'm aware. I'll check the name of the enemy. Yeah, Zombie Army. And he's a level 100 player trying to spade an archer. I mean, I blacklisted him. I mean, I don't mind the Archer, but I certainly wouldn't try and spade it in RB anymore. I mean, it'd probably be the best place for it, but you can see here he's quite clearly rushed up the frickin' lines, not spading anything. He's spaded quite a lot of Germany, I'll give him that, and quite a lot of France. But this guy was just a moaning little shithead. So, let's get into the game. Obviously, I am a cheapskate, so I carry the default rounds, which are APHE and FIT respectively, in that order. So you'll go APHE, FIT, APHE, FIT, etc. when you're firing at a plane. They have two different muzzle velocities, but to be honest, you can hardly feel the difference. So obviously, this half track is not really designed to kill tanks, but we're going to get a single tank kill with a gun, and we're going to get two with artillery quite later in the match. So Zombie Army is obviously in his archer. He is going to call a teammate of mine on my team a hacker for apparently it's legal to shoot his tank now because reasons. The Panzer III basically hanged on the edge of a cliff and he attempted to deal with him. Managed to get a shot into his gun breech, reloaded a second shell, killed his engine, and then killed the guy. And he started calling him a hacker for it. I checked the replay, he was not hacking. So, I started looking in binos, but I couldn't really see anything. The one thing to say about this vehicle is it does have good gun depression at 10 degrees, so it does work rather well. Obviously, I see that T-80 there, I'm looking for him. I can actually kill a T-80, so I thought, yeah, why not? I wait. And there we go. First kill. With the gun. Obviously, that was the only tank kill I get with the gun. At this point, it's actually getting a little bit quiet, but obviously, Zombie Army is sat here camping in his archer. I don't get why he would think this is a clever spot to park your archer in, but whatever. So at this point, I'm trying to decide where to go, because obviously, I'm in an AA truck. I can't really kill anything on the enemy team in terms of tanks. Like, I didn't know at the time that there was an awful lot of light tanks on the enemy team, otherwise I would have gone tank busting. I'd even gone to find the archer if I wanted to, but I decided no. And Porriman, who I literally just killed, is going to come screaming back in his Lag 335 to try and find me and revenge kill me, because everyone does that nowadays. Here's this Panzer Feldwagen 1C. He is just screaming around. I've never seen that little thing. Well, Sonderfahrgestell. Hauptwirkungstar, please pronounce that for me. I've got no idea, mate. I'd say it as Sonderfahrgestell. And here he comes. He's coming looking for my ass. Naturally, he's a low-level player with no skills, so he has to come back for his revenge kills. It's quite clear I angered him by destroying his precious T-80 pixel tank. I'm obviously following him with a 37. It does take a bit of practice, that's one thing to bear in mind. And what I decided to do at this point was not have the cab of the truck I'm just going to call it a truck, because that's basically what it is. It's just had the rear wheels took off and had half tracks put on it. But this truck handles very nicely, but the one thing to take into account is this position is better used like this. I'm very lucky to not actually hit him. I'm just missing him by a little bit. Naturally though, he's going to come screaming at me because he wants that revenge kill. I have no idea why, it's just a T-80, mate. I'm getting close. Obviously, I am close to hitting him, but you've got to take into account that the gun does overheat quite significantly. It doesn't like firing in huge bursts. And there you go, Zombie Army's just got his first kill on on that Panzer Sonderfahrlet, or how you pronounce it. But soon enough, I'm going to leave the chat on actually, so you can see the accusation at its finest. Well, I get a nice hit with a 37. That makes him bugger off a bit. He's going to come back, don't worry. I'm obviously firing a 37 trying to get rid of him. He's just flying around like an idiot. And quite clearly he gets the bright idea to charge a 37mm anti-aircraft truck and think it works. It doesn't. That's the first air kill in the game. Just punched my microphone then with my hand. And here comes the Yak 7 trying to do the same thing. I get a hit, which you saw there. I believe it sparked. Didn't really do any damage, it looked like. Of course, Russian planes take multiple 37s to bring down because they're Russian. But there is an awful lot of dead zone in this battle towards the middle area, so I am just going to skip that part. But it is the actual accusation that got me interested. But like I said, I checked the replay. There's nothing of that sort. I get a nice hit. Again, I believe an APHE round might hit him as well. And I believe I've nailed his engine at this point. Yep, we have damaged his engine quite significantly. And blown off one of his landing gear. But obviously, a 109 attempts to obviously try and take kills. He's going to try and steal it. And I get an assist. What was the point, 109? But hey, skillless 109 players. I wasn't all that bothered at the time, but it's just annoying. He knew he was going down. He saw the black smoke coming out the engine block of that thing. And it's just stupid. But hey, what can we do? So at this point, obviously, I'm sat here, I believe, putting some music on just to like get myself in the mood, get myself going and all that. Just gonna start skipping us ahead a bit. And in a couple of moments, we're obviously going to get our accusation come through, which is a load of shit because it wasn't a hacker. It wasn't a hacker at all. And there is a F2A1, also known as the baby buff. I'm obviously waiting for him to get close before I open fire. That's one thing to take into consideration. You don't want to engage at long range. You do simply want to just take it nice and easy. Don't rush your shots. And here comes an I-16 who was like a bloody dive fighter. I couldn't hit this little bugger. You'll be surprised how hard it is to actually hit an I-16 with a 37. But hey, we've always got to deal with the Russian aircraft, and the Russian aircraft are actually going to be the hardest ones to kill because Russian. And here, obviously, I've got the blacklist going, so you won't actually see it, but the accusation has just come through. He's basically saying, hacker report at this point. And that Yak 4 decided to suicide himself. No, anyway. Iroh's being fair. He's answering truthfully. He isn't BSing. Second kill on that I-16. Blew him to smithereens. And Zombie Army is going to continue calling him a hacker. Now, when I decided to... Well, I decided to be a bit, shall we say, nicer. I say, look at the server replay before jumping to conclusions. I private messaged him the same thing. And he started saying, go back to the US, which was a terrible insult because I'm not from the US. I then said, mate, I'm just trying to help you here. Just go look at a server replay. It's not difficult. Just go onto warthunder.com and things like that and go look at a server replay. He then said, go back to the UK, which is stupid because it's an EU server. He then said something along the lines of, the US and UK are inhabited by aliens. I mean, that's a creative insult, but also a terrible one. I lost a lot of brain cells responding to him. Let's just say that, and I just don't understand why. The main reason why I saved this battle is not because of the kills, it's because of the character of the battle. And Zombie Army's going to keep on going in chat until he eventually leaves. And Iroh is going to have a pretty decent game for himself. He looked like he was spading this thing at the time, so a Panzer III-M is more than a fair share. Obviously, Steel Coffin, he's in his Panzer III-M. He's going to have a pretty good game as well. Fair enough, not in terms of kills and deaths, but even so. Iroh's having a pretty good game for himself. But obviously, I'm chatting to the guys. I'm having a nice conversation with TAWC Steel Coffin and TAWB C9 Iroh. Very nice guys. If you happen to know them, do send them my way. I really appreciate a little conversation. At this point, I decide to have enough and I insult Zombie Army, but he's already left. I just say to him, call someone a noob, and there's a TBF 1C there. Has shit stats, most of them get killed, calls people cheats if they get a good shot in the vehicle, grow the fuck up. They thank me for the backup, and down goes the TBF Avenger. That's going to be my final air kill for the battle, but in a moment, I'm going to call artillery onto B. And there you can see that TBF spiraling like an absolute legend. That was rather funny to see that. But I believe at this point, yes, I've just called artillery on the B point. We don't have any tanks on there at the moment. Friendly is what I meant to imply there. What I didn't know at the time is that clearly Germany have been arming or polishing their howitzers too much, because I'm about to get 2 kills from that artillery drop. And that's going to bring my contribution to the battle to the end. And there we go. 2 artillery kills. 1 on an LVT, and 1 on a Gas AAA, who was Polar Man, funnily enough. And well, that is pretty much that. That was the end of the battle. Like I say, I don't save these battles for the kills, I save them for their character. Obviously, the Stug 3F battle is literally the only difference because I saved that because that was the final battle I needed to get the Stug done, and I got very lucky surviving that game, which I obviously want to show that because sometimes people screw up killing Stugs, and he could have very easily had me if he'd just hit a little bit lower, but he didn't. He just kept going to the same spot, going to the same spot. But even so, the M3 Lee battle's got quite a bit of character because me and Dave decided to go balls deep, like squealing hog. Um, and just overall, the rest of the battles I have saved, obviously I have one sub replay by Dave Schilling to do, but this battle just had a bit more character to it, and that's what I like. It's just got that sort of character. It's got that sort of thing that I like seeing in game, and it's just one of those things, really. But hey, it's always nice to get a whining idiot who thinks someone's hacking just because they have a terrible game. I mean, if a freaking SPAA truck has more kills than you and you're in a tank destroyer, I think you might want to reevaluate your life decisions. But you can see here, screaming up the lines, no skill whatsoever, and he's a pretty crap player just overall. And if you go to aircraft, it's even worse. I'm glad I didn't see him in an aircraft, otherwise I'd have probably shot him down without even trying. But do I recommend playing the SD KFZ 6.2? You can, but it certainly ain't as fun as it used to be. I did have a lot of games where I would have survived if I had the old penetration, let's just say that. Yeah, whatever. You win some, you lose some, and we lost some penetration by about 18 to 19 millimeters, which is a real shame. Anyway, I'm going to let you guys off. I hope you enjoyed today's video on the SD KFZ 6.2. Did enjoy this battle, did enjoy the grind, and well, I'll catch you all on the next one.